We are live. It is an official Techies Tuesday, live from Techies Fire and Water Restoration, your best way back to normal. Check us out online, tefirewater.com. Help you through everything right here. That's what we do. You got a flood, you got a fire, whatever. We didn't clean it up. We got construction to rebuild it better. Like best way back to normal. I like that. I like saying that, but I think we can even make it better if you wanted. If you wanted. Whatever you're looking for.
I'm happy we're back, Levack. It has been 6 months. We have not been back here since March, and here we are with the
Has it been that long since we've been in the building?
Yeah, 6 months. The logo looks better than ever. The setup's good. The sun is away under the cloud. Yeah. I'm excited to be back here on Central Ave for a Techies Tuesday where we belong. It's been busy. We've been all over the place, virtual, MVP Arena, and here we are back at Central Avenue.
And it was a lot of that was because I was doing the coaches show right before we did this show, so it couldn't get from Sea Smoke to here. That was when we started doing the virtual.
Hang on a second. I've worked with you long enough. Let's not. I see what you're doing here.
What do you mean?
You are setting me up to have a discussion. We can do it. We got a lot.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let us talk about what's going on, because you now are connected with the Columbus Lions.
Yeah.
And Coach Manas, for Albany Empire fans, has released his update for the team today.
Yes.
You were mentioned in the show. You found out that you were mentioned.
Yes.
You just heard the comments. This has happened just a moment. Let's talk about your thoughts on Coach Manas. By the way, I'm an employee of the Empire, and I support the Empire. Go Empire. Mike Corda just left the building, so now my 2 cents has been said, so my paychecks will continue to cash.
Listen, I have no issue with the Albany Empire. As the the emperor, I oversaw 3 championships. I wasn't as involved in the 2019, obviously, but I was here for that. You and I worked together on the field as the MCs for that one, and we helped promote the team. We were hype men, if you will. And then the following year, there was no team, and then when it came back, it was with my buddy Mike Corda and Ron Tradico and Nate Starling Jr. as the owners, and John Kane was in there. And, we did some things. We had some things. Head coach Tom Manas was great. And then last year we started doing the coaches show. And, this coach released a video today that said that the coaches show will be back bigger and better, and that he refused to sit next to the traitor Levack because he'd probably choke me. And then he said, then he walks it back. But he said what he meant, and then he walked it back with I love Jeff, whatever. And it was something about don't worry about what you don't have kind of thing. Like basically like forget who I am. I'm still here. Like I'm in Albany. You're in, friggin'
Michigan,
ass crack Michigan. You're a Youper damn near, and you're I'm not gone. I'm here. I'll be gone. I'll be gone for a week in October, a week in November, a week in December, and then the season. I'll be in Albany when the Lions get their first victory at the MVP Arena. That's like, but I'll be here. Traitor, how dare you?
I'll offer this up about the coaching show. He did say it's going to be a must-watch this year. There is going to be some interesting things happening on the coaching show, because I feel as if, and I could be wrong, and maybe I will be wrong when we watch this a month from now, I could be involved as the broadcaster of the team. I could not be involved. But I know, working with you and working with Coach, I will be the meat in that sandwich. It is going to be very strange for me coming up if I'm involved in that coach's show.
Jay Larkin, making friends and influencing people all over. I'm just saying, it was weird to hear him. I kind of thought he was gonna have a little online funeral for me. Sorry, Jeff's gone. We had a very nice conversation at the owners' meetings. I hadn't seen Coach Manas in a while, and he is a very close friend. So hearing him call me a traitor and take those shots, that's if I had a heart, it would be broken. I would be hurt right now. And the fact that it's gonna be bigger and better, I would like to think that I was told in those same owners' meetings that he spoke of. I was told by every team in the league that we had the best coaches show in the entire league. They told me I had the best coaches show, but they didn't. But you were on it, so again, it's just there's a little pain. He makes a big point to talk about how you become family after a season like that. We are family. You're now my estranged brother. You're like real family that barely talks to me, I think is what we're into.
When do we get a schedule? When do we get Columbus versus Albany? When can we share that information and when that game potentially can be happening?
The schedules have been sent to the arenas for final approval.
Ooh,
so we should have them very, very soon. Very soon.
I would like to put in this request to the owner of the Columbus Lions, which is you. What's the term we're using? The spearheader, right?
I'm the spearhead of the ownership group that owns the majority of the Columbus Lions.
Okay.
It's very wordy.
This time last year, we had said right here in this exact office.
Right here.
Right
this place.
We want to do a schedule reveal show.
Okay.
That gave all the matchups. But the NAL then put the schedule out on a Friday.
Yeah.
So my request is in again for this season. I would like to reveal the schedule for a live broadcast. I don't know if I'll be ignored again, but I feel like now the submission has been put through.
I'm going to tell you right now that after meeting with everyone as a member of the ownership group, I will say that the chances of it being fully organized and the release is not very strong.
Ooh.
There's a lot of very willful, opinionated humans in that room. And I think it gets to a point where the commissioner of the league, Chris Siegfried, has to go. So like one's saying this, I'm over here like, hey, let us do the reveal show. Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do this. And then finally I think Siegfried goes, did somebody drop a $50 bill? And then when all the millionaires scramble over to pick it up, he does what needs to get done and gets the schedule out. Right. Here you go. Finally, Levack and Goz have come back to Tech East Fire and Water Restoration. Yes, Ryan, thank you. I keep seeing bald people who look like Ryan to me. I really, really do. Like at this point, I really do think that Ryan is following me. And oh, come on, dude. Shameless plug, no credentials required. Live 7:00 on YouTube, Twitter channels. I guess I should be impressed that like he's smart enough to realize that people pay attention to this show and not the crap he does. So he should promote here. You know, I guess I should like be impressed that he gets that.
Well done, Ryan McCarthy.
Yeah,
you know didn't move TV
Ryan
style.
McCarthy and Coach Manas, the new coaches show
for
the Albany Empire.
What the hell?
There's
that quick, huh? Well, too many submissions. Guys, there's a lot of requests, we can tell.
Yeah. Well, I figure he'll do it for free. So it's probably more in line with Coach's budget. Well, I can't wait till Coach realizes all the equipment we use for the coaches show is my personal equipment, which is now part of the Columbus Lions pride, if you will. So the Lion King, you might want to be nice to me if you want to borrow my cameras and stuff, buddy. I'm just saying. I can't wait for him to start piping in. You know, somebody's going to tell him. Somebody's going to snitch. Somebody's going to be like, yo, Coach, Levack's talking crap. And then my phone's going to blow up.
Ryan, I'll let you be my spokesperson because there's no win for me in this scenario of who to side with.
There's no siding. There's no siding until the day of the game.
All right.
That's when, because I want the National Arena League to be stronger. That's what I want. That's the best thing for me. And then I want to win another championship. Or 7, and then I'm done, and then I'll probably hang it up after I was talking to Brandon Cisse not too long ago, and so Cisse invented Scum Life, and Scum is sacrifice, commitment, unity, making money, and he goes, there's a couple reasons I do it. He goes, I want a ring for each finger, so he's gonna listen, man. I don't hate that plan. He and I have 3, so you have 3.
I do have 3.
So there you go. Jay Larkin, Jeff, Mufasa Levack. I do like it. I'm not opposed to Mufasa. I just don't want to be in the end of the movie. I want to be like the prequel where like we find out how Mufasa became the Lion King, not
2024.
Is that really
allegedly there's a Mufasa movie coming out in 2024? The origin story. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Listen, if there's $1 to be squeezed, that mouse is going to find it. Oh, I'm going to find money. So like that doesn't shock me that he's going to.
If you've seen Lion King 1.5 on YouTube for free, you might know some of the origin story already, unless they've changed it. I stumbled upon that. Yeah,
there's a Lion King 1.5.
Yeah, free on YouTube.
Free, I don't believe. I don't believe that for 1 second.
Somehow it popped up on my television. I assumed it was YouTube.
Up in your wallet. I got you. All right, yeah. So everything. I'm here. I'm still a supporter of the Empire unless they're playing the Lions. The group I represent is still part of all of this. I still work for Tech East. Can you imagine how fast Mike would fire me if I just openly just forgot about the Empire too? Like my job is to make the Lions better and to get over that NAL hump and win the championship in the NAL. But at the same time, like I'm still my main employer at this exact moment in time is Tech East Fire and Water Restoration. And and it's not normal for me to be unemployed. So I'm not, I'm not turning my back on the Empire until they play the Lions.
You know who else is on your team? Our friends at Mohawk. You visited them today, right? Our friends Mohawk Honda, Mohawk Chevrolet. If you're looking for a new vehicle, support our friends at Mohawk. You bumped into our pal Andy Galcher and Nate today.
Yeah. I told him about my plan to try to buy some land down in the Columbus, Georgia area, right next to Sons Chevrolet, and then open it as Mohawk and everybody will think they're just part of our dealership. They didn't hate it. They didn't say no to funding my dream of opening Mohawk and down there. But it is obviously love that place. Got the oil change, the tires rotated, all that fun stuff. They washed the truck for me because it's still I've been able to get some of those pesky windshield bugs off from the big drive back from Orlando. And just the way they take care of you as part of the Mohawk family is it's phenomenal. Like they'll buy your vehicle right now. You don't even have to buy one from them. They'll just buy your vehicle. They'll still do all those things. And just the selection, the pricing, the way you're treated, phenomenal. Saw Coach Gattuso's lovely daughter. Nice. She looks phenomenal. She's ready her and our girl Dre, they're ready to get vehicles into your driveway and find you that car, truck, SUV you're going to love forever.
Shout out more to Mohawk Honda as well, too, because of the cool things going on. Scott Moynihan is back. By God, it's Scott Moynihan's music. As for him, my mother-in-law is allegedly coming this weekend to buy a new vehicle at Mohawk Honda. So Cam McKenna, get ready for a text from me as we schedule that appointment. That'll be wonderful.
You know how that goes. So his parents bought one from there? All right, Jordan. I'll be down. I'll get one, too. I'll do it. I'm not going to be shown up by that Goslavsky family. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to be shown up by them.
This is a used car and I can get a good price. And she's doing all the math in her head. Yes, go to Mohawk Honda. And one other thing, they're getting in the NIL stuff. How about this? Thomas Greeny, the tight end for the UAlbany Great Danes.
He's a Barstool athlete, too.
Yes, his daughter Charlotte's kind of making some waves. And now they're a part of the Mohawk team. The first NIL deal that we believe has been a part of the local football scene.
I love that. If you haven't seen that video, Lexi Swat from News Channel 13 posted it. That is like – first of all, the good-looking kid kind of looks like Eminem. He kind of looks a little bit like Eminem. And then he's there with his daughter, and he's doing the interview. And like she goes, "Well, how does it feel to get the monkey off your back for winning a game?" And you see the daughter's wheels start turning, oh. It's almost like one of those things. Like I told Dad I wanted a pet monkey, and he has one. Whatever. And then she's like, "Dad, you have a monkey on your back?" And it was it's the cute. You got to see it. I can't do it justice. Cutest thing ever. And good. Seems like a very good kid. So I'm glad that he's part of the Mohawk Honda family or Mohawk family.
That's right. Greg Johnson, cool stuff. Locals. Shout out to Mark Singlace. We give him a lot of grief. Really good article he had about Mohawk Honda out there as well. So,
I mean, let's not go too far.
Jackson Stormo's feed he was checking out later on.
It was nice. So. It was nice of him to take a little break from answering the door at the Munsters mansion to write a nice story. It really was. It was very nice of him. You rang, and then he's hitting the keyboard.
Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way. Please, yeah.
Think about this, man. I've been to the collision center, the oil change. I've been using up the Mohawk family, man. I've been all over the place. It's
everywhere.
Yeah, and we just did the show over at the Honda dealership, so I'm a big fan of the Mohawk family. You know that for a fact. Not a fan of New York football over the weekend, as you nicely put that the Jets and Giants lost. Jets, Giants, Bills.
Yeah,
and I know we're gonna get deeper into the Bills stuff because they were the one that probably everybody thought would win. Jets, Giants, both losing. MetLife, not the friendliest place right now, I would imagine.
No, I want to start with Big Blue because they're the most recent loss.
Actually, when they both lose, we can call them New Jersey. You can
get out of here.
Yeah. You
get out of our state. That was a rough watch last night, wasn't it? Cowboys, Giants. It feels like every primetime game. The last time, again, we'll do another comparison to 2021. We were talking about how great the primetime games were this time last fall here at Tech East. That is not the case in 2022. The Sunday games have been great. I love the stat that 18 games through 3 weeks of the season have been decided by a touchdown or less, the most ever in NFL history. So the competition is really close. That game was horrible. From Cooper Rush to Daniel Jones to Zeke falling into the end zone, Kenny Golladay a non-factor. Both those teams looked terrible. Somebody had to win. It was Dallas. Philadelphia looks head and shoulders above everybody else in that division. And now the line has moved where Philly's the second favorite in the NFC besides Tampa. And we'll get to my Bucs later, but they do not look like the favorite in that conference. That was awful across the board. I know the big talk now is that Daniel Jones got pressured too much, and it's the offensive line needs a little bit of help or more. We've done the O-line thing like 7 years in a row. They're trying. I don't think it's the O-line. I think every team looks at Daniel Jones and says, we're just going to blitz the hell out of him. We'll make Daniel Jones beat us. Saquon Barkley, freak, awesome touchdown. Sterling Shepard's torn ACL. But the scouting report's out on the Giants. Make Daniel Jones beat us. If he's going to run and get a first down, great. But we're going to blitz him all day long with young offensive linemen, and that's the way we can beat him.
I'm sorry I have to do this. I'm sorry. Just wait. The plan is to take a quarterback who's never done anything in the NFL, who doesn't have an offensive line, and try to get him to be the one to beat us? Come on.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Come on. Yes, of course that's it. But get him to beat you with his arm. Because he can, dude can run.
Yep.
I couldn't help but feel like that game was scripted to be terrible. Because if you watch, there were moments where the Giants offense would start to click. Whether, like Daniel Jones would do a quick drop, like screen or whatever, or he'd scramble out of danger. And you start going, okay, all right, here we go. And then there's a holding. And then there's the fumble. And then there's a this. And then there's a that. And then it was almost like they were like, we don't want to give you guys that much hope. We start 3-0. The weight on these shoulders is going to get pretty heavy. We're not ready for all that. I think the number one thing I learned from that team performance last night is I still think you finally got the right coaching staff, but you are just in the very beginning of finding out who you have as players. And if they win enough games that they're out of getting one of these quarterbacks coming up next year, that's going to be a really sad moment. Because you got some guys. You got some guys on that team. Few, not a lot. That offensive line will get better as they play together. Neal's a rookie and all that other stuff. I think Daniel Jones is broken. Or even if he's not broken, I don't know if he's the right guy to run this offense. I'm not 100% against him, but at this point, maybe send him somewhere, like somebody else have a shot at trying to get him right and just call it a day.
Because it's also the third season in a row we talk about wide receivers not being productive. Like I went to Galladay and said he's not doing anything. And that might be a whole different story in comparison to the other ones. But what you said there too. Hey, if we're blaming the offensive line and wide receiver, maybe there's a connection of why both. Oh, yeah, it's the quarterback. There's a lot more to the Giants than just Daniel Jones. I know we feel like we say that all the time about that position, but they are so close. Like 2023, 2024, they're better than I thought. They're in the right direction. I'm totally with you on Brian Daboll, Wink Martindale, and everybody else over there. They're in a far better spot than what they were under Gettleman. And I'm glad I'm blanking on the old GM's name, who used to just be terrible for the Giants as well.
Oh, yeah, I can see him in my head too. Jerry Reese?
Jerry Reese, thank you. Yeah.
It's I think if you look at what happened with the Bills when McDermott and Bean took over, scale that back. Because remember, they didn't expect to be a playoff team right away. They didn't expect to do the things they did. And then year 2, they lost 3 offensive linemen before the season even started. But since then, you've seen them start to chug along and add to their talent and get where they need to be. So, like, if you're a Giants fan, I think you can still look at that Bills maturation. You just got to scale it back. Just like if it took 3 years for the Bills to really be who you wanted them to be, it's probably going to take 4 for the Giants. But I think you can see that there's a couple, especially on the defense. The defense is fine. I really think the Giants defense, if they had an offense that would, give them a chance to catch some wind and everything else, they'd probably be fine. Health being what it is. But I think they're on the right path. It's just they're a little farther back in that path than they appeared to be after starting 2-0.
Yeah, better than what we thought they'd be and headed in the right direction.
And that being said, they're going to beat the Bears, and everybody's going to, all the Giants fans, be like, remember what you said? Remember what you said?
The Jets, I don't know if that's the same take of what that New York team is, because Zach Wilson is allegedly maybe coming back. It's week 4, right? Pittsburgh. Yeah. This is the timetable. We thought the young rookie would be back. I know it's most recency bias that some Jet fans could look at Joe Flacco and say he wasn't the answer. He's not good. That's week 3. Like, Flacco was finally bad. He was great in week 2, good in week 1. one of the highest scoring quarterbacks, him and Tua, bizarro world in fantasy land, that they actually were that good. So we had a bad game in week 3. The answer should be Zach Wilson, but it's going to be a fascinating storyline to follow what happens here with the Jets, because if Zach Wilson is not good out of the gates in week 4 or 5, 6, Jet fans are going to look around and be like, look, we got Garrett Wilson. We got a defense. We're competitive in these games. Maybe year 2 of Zach Wilson, there's far more question marks than we thought. That seems to be the theme now heading into October. It's all on Zach Wilson to find out where that franchise is going.
Yeah, and that's going to decide, if you have to flush the front office again too. Like that's it's the Jet. I thought the Jets were headed in the right direction. I just don't know. The Jets seem to be cursed. Like, can we just actually, it's almost October. Like, we can start talking about scary stuff, right? Like, I don't know what they did. Is it all the guarantee? Like, is it all go back to Namath with the guarantee? Like, all right, we're going to give you this one, but it's going to cost you in the future because you were rude. Like, is it what is it? Because they just never, nothing, it never, there never is a season where everything goes right for the Jets. And I know you're probably thinking, what team ever has everything go right? The New England Patriots for 20 years, it feels like they're the one. But they just never have a season where everything goes right. Like if you're winning a lot of games, also your quarterback gets hurt. It's okay, this is the year we got everybody's healthy on the defense. We got this, we got that, we got the other thing. We finally got a number 1 receiver. Boom, Zach Wilson gets hurt. And I don't know if Zach Wilson's the dude or not. Can you find that out in 1 year? I don't even know if you can find that out in 1 year.
It's scary to think you can, because what's happened now in the NFL is if one quarterback who's young has a really good season fast, now you got to pay him before he gets better 2 or 3 years from now, which gets to be scary, right? Jet fan went through this with Sam Darnold, where they thought, okay, we'll give him time, and then eventually it didn't work. Mark Sanchez, I guess, can be in that same conversation too, where Sanchez team around him was successful, back-to-back AFC title games, but never got to where he needed. There was talk of Teddy Bridgewater, Ryan Fitzpatrick. We've seen a lot of names come in and out of what the Jets can do. I wish we had something different to talk about from the Jets from last week here in September to past July and August. But the biggest obstacle for the Jets is the division they're in. They are not in the same type of spot where Miami and Buffalo are. And New England, with the Mac Jones injury, it's tough to figure out where he's going to be availability-wise for the rest of the season. That one, by the way, might be on Belichick for having Brian Hoyer still on the roster and thinking, no, we'll be good. Hoyer will be the answer in the super division. Okay.
So wait, but here's the thing too. Like Giants fan, you're excluded from this criticism because Daniel Jones was not your guy. There was never Bears fan, Justin Fields that you did want, whatever, but Mitchell Trubisky was never your guy. So Giants fan, you're okay in this one. Daniel Jones, not your guy. You were as a matter of fact, you all went surrender Cobra, no, the second he was drafted. But Jets fan who rallied around Zach Wilson, not because he was the best quarterback, but because he was the best quarterback in that draft. Let this be a lesson to you. Don't do that. Like every GM out there who's sitting there going, well, we don't have a quarterback. Well, Tom Gostkowski the 7th is available in this year's draft, and he's not good, but he's the best that's out there. So let's draft him 3rd overall. Don't do it. Don't do it, because look at the Niners. The Niners were cruising. They draft Trey Lance, and it doesn't look like that was the answer. And now they're losing 11-10 to terrible what's left in that old crappy looking roll of toothpaste that is dangerous, Russell Wilson. You can't force a franchise quarterback. You can't do it. You're better off going to get a bridge guy like Teddy Bridgewater, suffering through a year like last year or the year before, and then this year's draft looks like you're going to be stacked with quarterbacks. This is the year you go get a quarterback. Not hey, you know what? We can build our franchise around Zach Wilson. What's it? Oh, is it the undersized kid from BYU who we're not really sure if he's that good, and he's never really played against top talent
in a COVID year.
And I hope this is one of those things, because me, I root for people to be successful as long as they're not a member of the Denver Broncos or the Boston Red Sox, or, a couple other places too. But I hope Zach Wilson ends up bucking this trend and he actually is really good. But when you do that, you set your team back so far. I'm a Raiders fan. I remember when Al Davis forced the team to draft Jamarcus Russell. Okay. That set the team back 3. It's supposed to be 3 seasons. I think it set them back. I think they're still recovering, to be perfectly honest with you. You get Derek Carr in the second round, which was a really, really good pick. However, it's not enough. You can't force these quarterbacks. You can't do it.
That take you gave is one of my favorite takes in sports. I call that the surgery take, where if you go to the doctor's office and be like, I know something needs to get fixed,
right,
but I will just take whatever doctor's available, whatever's best, instead of waiting to be like, no, give me the best doctor. If we ever had that mindset, like you're talking about, and anything else, you're like, you're an idiot. Just wait 2 weeks and get a better doctor. Just wait and get a better surgery take. Yeah.
Well, it's not even ER. Like it's not life or death. Like you can, hey, you know what? You can spread this out a little bit longer with diet, exercise, and blah, blah, blah. Or you can have the guy who's blind in his left eye do your open heart surgery. It's like, hey, you know what? Broccoli's not bad. I mean, I can eat some broccoli. I think it's, whatever. Got any butter? No, I can't believe it's not butter. I can make that work for a month or 6 until the guy who has 20/20 vision's available. Like, I could do that. Yeah, it's just the forcing the quarterback is just such a freaking terrible idea. Terrible idea. That's why, like, listen, as much as I hate the Raiders have started 0-3, if there was a year to have a high pick, this might be the one. This might be the one.
Oh, you've given.
This might be the one.
You know what? I want to follow up on that. I'll save that for rapid reaction.
Go ahead, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not scared.
I want to get to the Bills first, though, because I know Bills fans. I saw this comment come in to me, and the comment was something along the lines of, if anybody thinks Buffalo is a worse team than Miami after all those injuries, and you try to make an argument that Miami's better than Buffalo, you shouldn't know anything about football. You should never be allowed. I'm like, good God, social media. Like, again, for the second consecutive year, Bills fans will not accept losses. Levack, you and I, by the way, were at the Hideaway this Sunday. Last year at the Monday Night Football game between the Titans and Bills, the Titans beat the Bills that night, and there were some fumbles.
Sorry, I stopped listening when I realized I was getting a Bloody Mary on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get the big one, too, that's got all the food in it.
I think we got the garbage plates coming on Sunday
as
well.
Oh, yes. Timmy's got the garbage plates working.
Yeah, I'm going to
That's why I, misremember Timmy as a Bills fan instead of a Niners fan, because he's making garbage plates.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
But how do you feel the Bills' Sunday loss should be perceived? Is it a lot of excuses by Bills fans about injury? Is that a legit excuse? Or are they being whiny and just not giving Miami the credit for them being one of the only 2 teams left being undefeated in the league?
One of the rudest things to do is to answer a question with a question. So let me ask you a question in return. Question. Who's the better team?
I mean, Miami beat them.
Goz, who's the better team? You've got to fire up your DraftKings account and pry off the pink panties and actually make a big bet to win the Super Bowl this year, to win the AFC, not even the Super Bowl. Who are you betting on?
Buffalo.
There you go. That's it. It was, Miami played a hell of a game. Buffalo played a decent game and did some stupid things, and he definitely had some injuries. My boy Don.
Hey.
So here's the deal. Buffalo's the better team. Like, excuses or not, Miami won. Excuses mean nothing. There isn't a place in the win and loss column for excuses. At least not that I'm aware of. So Miami, good job. I should have called it. They would have won. Don!
Hey, there he is.
This is what's good about being back at Tech East. I see the people I actually I like, not those people who call me traitor because I took an opportunity to better myself. No, it's the Bills are the better team. Excuses or no excuses, you play that game 10 times. I'm taking the Bills 7. I took the Bills in our picks. If you remember, right before we did the show, I told you Bills are going to lose this game, but they're going to win a bunch of games. They're not going to go undefeated, whatever. And then my dumbass, okay, I'll go with the Bills. It's just Dolphins are better than I thought they were, though. I thought they were all hype, but right now they are. It aggravates the hell out of me to admit that they win a lot of. They're going to win a lot of football games, and that pairing of the nerd coach and Tua is a good pairing. Like, what's the nerd coach's
Mike
name?
McDaniel.
Yeah,
McDaniel.
Oh my goodness, young McDaniel. Like, I just want to, he, who he is? He's the guy who's friends with your girlfriend. That looks down his nose at you, and you're just like, you realize I could beat the hell out of you, and the only reason I haven't is 1, you'd press charges, and 2, she'd be mad at me. But I want to beat the hell out of you.
He's one of those guys who needed a party and got rich like 3 years ago doing some type of investment you just learned about now. And he's like, oh, yeah, I knew about Bitcoin back in 2009. I was like, I don't think that was a thing back. No, it was. Yeah. And I'm rich now. So,
or he's not even rich yet, but he's on his way. And it's like, he's doing really, really well. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm still going to push him down the staircase. I'm going to stab him with the pencil he's got over his ear. Yeah. I hate that he's good. And I was always a Tua supporter, but now I don't like Tua because he's with him. That's why I like when Tua was in college. You remember I was all over Tua. I used to give you crap for being mean to Tua. Now I'm like, screw Tua.
Buffalo is better. I feel like the Bills fan is so passionate about
our boy Jim, who's like a big Jacksonville guy.
Yeah.
Buffalo wins by scores in Buffalo. I assume that means a lot of points.
4 scores is 20. So right?
Well, it's a score is 20. So 4 scores is 80.
80 points. There it is. Maybe 40.
Multiple, at least 40.
Multiple scores. Or maybe he just meant field goals and why did I jump to Abe Lincoln for my assessment of scores?
He used scores. Or this is a strip club.
Or touchdowns, I guess. Anyways, Buffalo, they were historically good the first 2 weeks.
He said 2 scores.
Oh, 2 scores. All right, we read it wrong then.
Well, no, he just said scores. He didn't say he quantified after we gave him crap, which is fine. That's fine.
They're historically good. They beat the Rams, who are the defending Super Bowl champions. They beat the Titans, who are the top seed in the AFC. So I guess when you
come back against the Ravens.
Yeah. Like when you're historically good and then lose.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a mind mix. And it's injuries. It's not like they had 5 turnovers. Like 5 turnovers is different than injuries because you could fix 5 turnovers. Just hold on to the football.
Right.
Injuries puts a little bit of a cloud over, all right, Buffalo, like, what are we doing here? Like, who's coming back? Who's not coming back? How long are these guys out for? That's what puts confusion. And I'm glad you brought Miami too. Like,
they still would have won. They still, if this game was in Buffalo, Bills would have won. I'm still shocked they didn't win. I thought they would have figured it out. I thought they would have got it done somehow.
Miami can be a playoff team.
Yeah.
I'll put that after 3 weeks because Hill and Waddle, I mean, we're talking about 2 of the top 10 receivers, points-wise and scoring-wise, 2 of the top 5. Those guys are that good, man. That's a great combination on the outside.
Two questions, and I'm going to give you a chance to contradict yourself with the way I'm going to ask these questions, so I apologize in advance.
Okay.
1, where would you rank the Dolphins in the AFC West now? Going into the season, we thought the AFC West had the potential to have 3-4 playoff teams. I would probably put where would you put the Dolphins in there now?
I would put them third.
I'd tie them for second because I think Kansas City's still better. Kansas City's going to win the West. LA, as long as the rib thing doesn't become a big problem for Herbert, it's right there. But I'd put them right up there with LA, and then I'd put the Raiders in Denver underneath them. And where if before the season started, I would have put them at the 5th. I would put them 5th.
I would have put them 3rd because if I get Herbert versus Tua, I believe in Herbert still more. But that's getting less.
You have 2.
Less.
But you have all right. So you have 2 avant-garde coaches, right, who are doing things a little different than what other people are doing. But one is doing it in a way that works, and the other one has cost his team multiple wins, and that's LA. That's the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where we get a chance to contradict ourselves because I agree with you. I would put them middle of the pack. I would have moved them up way higher than I had them. Do you believe that defensive coordinators in the NFL are going to figure out exactly what's going on, and Tua is going to come spiraling down to earth by week 7?
Ooh.
Right? It's a tricky one there.
Yeah.
Because I do. So that's why I'm contradicting myself.
Okay, so your answer is yes. Okay.
Yes, I think that sooner or later, the Wink Martindales and the Patrick Grahams and the defensive coordinators. I think at some point Rex Ryan is going to do a pregame show where he's going to go, all you got to do is take this, this, and this, and somebody's going to go, oh crap, he's not wrong. And then they're going to be in trouble. They're going to have to adjust.
The reason I hesitated was because if it was a run-heavy team, you could figure that out a little bit quicker. But Tyreek Hill is so fast and Jalen Waddle is so good that it's just because of how good of athletes they are, you might have a great scheme. I love this phrase that Dan Orlovsky uses. He calls it, go be a freak. Like Saquon Barkley did this last night. He broke 2 tackles and scored on that 60-yarder. We saw it in person again, too. Hill and Waddle have the freak factor. So that's the reason I hesitate on Miami.
I like that you said clouds, and then the clouds went away, and now we're being blinded. Like, it's been cloudy all day. It's been perfect in here. Now, all of a sudden, the sun wants to be on the show. Welcome to Levack and Goz, live on a Techies Tuesday with the sun. Gosh, sun's so annoying. Who invited it?
I like how people try to take down the sun, like me. Don't wear suntan lotion.
Yeah, I realized I didn't even get a suntan in Florida because I wore so much sunscreen. It was weird. It was like I used to be that guy who's like, I'm gonna burn, I'll be good after that. Now I'm just like, I'm getting old.
I'm glad you call it sunscreen, not suntan lotion. How I said it made it sound like I'm like
suntan lotion. You're trying to get a tan.
Yeah, but it sounds like I'm like a 90-year-old woman, just like slowly lathering and like holding like that weird deflector on there, like a big bobbit hat. Sunscreen is what men wear.
Anybody else show of hands in the comments that when Goz says lathering on, you get really upset, like your stomach starts to hurt a little bit? Can't just be me. Can't just be me. There's certain words you shouldn't say. Lathering on. Way high on the list. Don't enact it. Everybody watching it. If you're still watching on Techies Fire and Water Restoration Facebook page, the YouTube. I saw our viewers go down. YouTube or Goz's Twitter. We apologize for Goz acting out lathering on his sunscreen. Well, all right. Time for the not so rapid recap.
Chicago beat Houston 23-20. Game-winning field goal, basically. Bears, Texans, more watchable than we thought.
And well, again, I like the Texans all year. That ends up being a push for me. They were +3. I didn't make it a lock. I wasn't manly enough to make it a lock. It's okay. But it's good. I have no faith in either team. Like if you told me that the Texans would have more wins than the Bears by the end of the season, I would 100% believe you. By the way, Jay Larkin is chiming in with the green face and the puking emoji face. And then Ryan McCarthy, I don't think I can go do my live stream, which is 7 p.m. on No Request for the Car TV. After hearing Goz say lather, he's become the cheap pop guy.
Like, it's the Mick Foley of podcasts. Yeah. Khalil Herbert, the difference for the Bears, man. He had a really good game. He might be a really good player all of a sudden with Montgomery getting hurt. So maybe that's what Chicago's just.
How hurt is Montgomery? Like you do the fantasy show, WTF there.
The rumor's a month, 4 games early in the week. He could be out 4 games.
I got to scramble on that one because I got him on one of my teams.
Herbert might be worth trading for. I'll say that. If somebody's in the league who got to the waiver wire quicker, he is worth a trade if you can find the right spot.
You think he's going to be that good? Because that team is they're just not good.
Khalil Herbert going into the week 3 matchup was averaging close to 7 yards per touch. You don't see that unless you're playing the NCAA video game where you have like a 99 speed guy, 7 yards a touch. And Herbert's number might have gone up after a 150-yard plus performance in that game, it felt like.
He really lathered on the yards.
Let's move on to your Raiders because we teased that earlier. 24-22. Your Raiders lost to the team you despise as much maybe now as the Broncos, the Titans. Your Raiders, unfortunately. And happy birthday, Sean Martin, by the way, a fellow Raider fan. Happy birthday to Sean. Here's what we'll give you for your birthday discussion of Sean. The only 0-3 team in the NFL.
As Goz was like, congrats. You did it.
I texted him that.
Yeah, you know what, dude? This Raiders team feels very rudderless. They just feel like if games were 30 minutes, the Raiders would be 3-0. But the 60-minute game thing's just not really. it's not conducive for them. Well, think about it. They haven't
not
played
fair.
Right.
That's not fair to us.
If we're being realistic, it's just. I mean, it's we're playing your rules. I don't like it. They haven't played a full freaking game. So you think about it. The Chargers get out to a lead. The Raiders start storming back, and then the Chargers finish it off. So they like quarters 2 and 3 were good in that one. Against the Cardinals, quarters 1 and 2 dominant. Come back out. And then this one, it was similar to the Chargers game. They let the Titans get out to a little bit of a lead. They charge back a little bit, but it's not enough. Like it's just, I don't know. I don't know what to think of them. I don't know what to think of the Raiders.
You said earlier in the show that you're already looking forward to a high pick. Is that because of the pessimistic view of just how early it started, or do you really think this is the symbol of what's to come for the rest of the year?
There's 0. So like where you would put the wins, the amount of times they've won a football game, there's 0. And then where you put the losses, they've got 3 of those already. Do you know what their record was this time last year?
3-0?
3 wins and 0 losses. They are terrible. Like I just, and the worst thing is like I don't see exactly what's wrong because again, when they play really well, they play really well. And it's like the reason that you bring a McDaniels in is he schemes a good offense and he knows how to use his guys and he'll know how to win a close game because that's what the Patriots did all along is if I need to, I'll get the first down. You know, if I need a field goal to win it, I'll get that. He doesn't. The Cardinals game, I lost a lot of faith in that game because you're 1 or 2 first downs away from winning that game. You give your defense another 3 to 5 minutes of rest on one of those drives in the fourth quarter, and they're going to at least hold you to 3 instead of letting Kyler Murray run around like my favorite one. Kyler Murray run around like a toddler who stole the remote, and the parents are trying to get it back. But there's problems. And then there's the other one out there that Mike Corda, owner of Techie's Fire and Water Restoration, was nice enough to send me. Bill Belichick hasn't named an offensive coordinator yet because he knew Josh McDaniels will be back in a little bit.
God.
Yeah. So I don't see enough. The defense, it's the stars and scrubs team. The defense is good enough to beat you, but not good enough to beat you if they need to use their backups. And the offense can do anything, but also can do nothing. So it's like I have very little faith. Again, where the wins go, they have 0, and then the 3. So if they go on an amazing run, they'll be 14-3. I don't see that happening.
Our guy Flounder would love that. Yeah. He could, a not big sports fan, but he could follow along with that math there we were doing. It's going to sound strange, but I think you know what I'm saying here. I feel more confident in the Raiders than I do Josh McDaniels. That's a playoff team they lost to last season to the Titans, a playoff team they lost to in overtime on a fumble to the Cardinals, and a almost tie-away playoff team away from the Chargers. So those are really good teams they opened up with. What McDaniels has yet to prove he's a good head coach. It's not his first time doing this. He did it in Denver, and he drafted Tim Tebow. He's 0-3 right now for the Raiders that are a more talented team. Let's find out what this team looks like a month from now, because it could be 3-4.
I have an issue with something you just said.
Okay.
You don't have faith in Josh McDaniels, but you have faith in the Raiders.
I feel like the talent on that Raider team is still good enough that they can win some games if McDaniel screws it up with bad calls. I feel like that's...
Oh, I get. Because originally when you said it, I was like, well, that guy leads the Raiders right now, right? Like that would be
I'll give you a perfect example. San Francisco, Denver. We'll move ahead to that game. San Francisco loses 11-10 to Denver. That comparison I just did for Josh McDaniels fits Nathaniel Hackett. Buddy Hackett. What Denver did, Denver's 2-1. Mm-hmm. Despite Nathaniel Hackett, despite him bringing in this weird strategy coach, and the strategy coach still decided to punt on a 4th and inches and have another 0-2 decision on third. Even the guy they're 2-1, and they had another horrible game. Russell Wilson had one good drive, and that was it. And it ended up helping Denver win the game.
Yeah, it's so weird because again, going into the season, we looked at the AFC West as this powerful freaking juggernaut of a conference. It was going to be great. The division was going to be stellar, and blah 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 blah. And now you're like, so Buddy Hackett, Belichick's crony, the weird dude in LA, and then Andy Reid. And Andy Reid is going to be the best coach in most divisions anyway. He's one of the best coaches out there. Yeah, it's not good. It's not a Mount Rushmore, if you will, of coaches. And then the quarterbacks, when you look at it, Mahomes is Mahomes. Herbert is Herbert. That's great. He doesn't really throw me in the fourth quarter as much as I'd like, whatever. But I think some of that's the coaching. But then Russell Wilson's not Russell Wilson anymore. He's beat up. He's done. I'm sorry. He's toast. His best drive was that last drive for Denver, to get the score. That was great.
I was going to say.
But then again, Derek Carr's not doing anything.
No, but you know what? Carr is younger than Wilson, and I have more faith in him going forward for this season because Wilson is not grouped in with these guys. It's a perfect comparison with Wilson, Stafford, Brady, Rodgers, and the next guy we'll mention here, Colts versus Chiefs, the biggest upset, 20-17, Matt Ryan. Those 5 quarterbacks have gotten old fast.
Yeah.
All of those guys are below the top 25 performing quarterbacks the first 3 weeks of the season. That was a really big upset for Chiefs Colts, but the storyline out of that game feels like Eric Bieniemy. Did you see this at halftime yelling at Mahomes? What is your take on the OC and LaShawn McCoy saying Bieniemy doesn't know anything about football? That's why he's always arguing with players.
The Eric Bieniemy, talk about the guy who's everybody's rallying around. The NFL is racist because they won't give him a head coaching job. And Eric Bieniemy's so now they're all looking around going, we're going to need a different poster child. We're going to need somebody else because I kind of see why they didn't hire him all of a sudden. It kind of makes sense. Can we get Can anyone else? Anyone? Yo, that Mike McDaniel, we're counting him. Okay, all right, yeah, all right, good, yeah. Like you talk about a guy who went from like the sexiest pick to be your next head coach to the, I don't know if I'd let him take out my trash, like the way he's handling business. Like I just don't get it.
Maybe losing Tyreek Hill is a bigger deal than we realize for the Chiefs because the offense, again, in similar fashion to your Raiders, tough schedule for the Chiefs coming out of the gates. They got more tough opponents coming on the way. But Mahomes is relying a lot on Kelsey and a lot of young players on that offense. We mentioned that stars and scrubs comparison. Kansas City has a lot invested in Mahomes. I didn't know the contract's all chopped up and weird, but still.
Yeah, they're going to have to redo it.
Yeah, and the Bieniemy thing, I don't think it's a big deal because Mahomes is a competitive guy and he'd want to go for it on every fourth down and every time he has the football. So a star player and a coach going back and forth isn't a big deal to me, except what you just said. Okay, why hasn't this guy got a head coaching job? We've got a first. I don't even know what Eric Bieniemy's voice sounds like. I have no idea what I don't, because we rarely ever hear from him. And now we have a headline of that. Kansas City is the third best team in the AFC. We have to do power rankings.
Yeah, the power rankings are coming up, by the way.
All right.
By the way, power rankings on the way. Everybody loves power rankings.
Vikings, Lions, Minnesota 28-24 winners in this one. Storyline from this game, Dalvin Cook out with an injury. One of the best running backs in the NFL just can't stay healthy.
Can't stay healthy, and Minnesota still finds a way to win. The biggest story for me is Detroit. Like, because I know Dalvin Cook should be the biggest story, but like, how good is Detroit? Like, I feel like Detroit's that team, like, before the season, if I was standing in the middle of Central Ave going, the Detroit Lions are going to the playoffs, they'd be like, all right, let's put the straight jacket on Levack. He's sniffing something. That's all right. Where now it's like you kind of like quietly in corners, people are like, I think Detroit might go, they might be good. They might be able to go to the playoffs, man. Like, a little bit of defense could go a long way with them. Like, are they good? I think they're good. Their offense is good.
Head coach is good. Coaching staff is good. Quarterback Goss played well. Swift got hurt, which sucks because he had played so well. And Williams, a hard knocks madman. St. Brown's been awesome. Hutchinson, everything's good across the board. What are they missing? What do they have to do to get put over the top and start winning these games? Defense. That's about it.
Hold the other team under 400 yards would be great.
That'd be a good start.
And, or, one more point last week to give me a win on one of my locks instead of a push would have been great. I would have been happy with that. I would have been.
Baltimore 37-26 winners over New England. Two things that jumped out to me in this game. One, the Mac Jones injury, which we mentioned earlier in the show. What New England's going to do now at the quarterback position. Lamar Jackson. I know it's only 3 games into the season. MVP, it's Lamar and everybody else when it comes to performances on the field.
You talk about somebody showing up in a contract year. Lamar is he's nasty. Like right now, he's just playing. We just talked about Denver, where like they won 2 games and people are still like, I don't know if Russell Wilson's what we thought he was. Like Baltimore loses a game last week and like everybody's like, ain't Lamar's fault. Like Doc Rivers, ain't Lamar's fault. He ain't Lamar. Like he looks phenomenal. He is taking his game to another level. He loses Hollywood Brown, but Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews and the running, which his running still makes me a little nervous, but I think he's gotten better at like laying the hits a little, just enough. But yeah, he looks absolutely phenomenal. I think I don't know if it would have mattered who they played this week because they lost the week before. I think they would have steamrolled whoever it was.
This is a LeBron comparison to Lamar Jackson, and basketball fans will know this, maybe just sports fans in general. If you're a LeBron fan, you are, and if you don't like LeBron, you don't. That's Lamar Jackson now. Like at this point in his career, if he's going to run for over 100 yards a game the last 3 games on average, if he's going to put up those numbers and you still have questions like, I don't know about Lamar, then it's just not your style. He's not your guy. It's not your thing. LeBron, same thing. If he's going to win championships and you're just Skip Bayless, poke and pick at, he's not your guy. It's that point with Lamar Jackson that either you love the guy or you can't stand his play. Mark Andrews, he's past Kelsey. He's the best tight end now, and he's one of the best weapons in the NFL. It's just consistently always finding him. Baltimore's really good. New England, this is on to you guys. That's the roster you built. Yeah. Those are the decisions you made. You've got to sleep in that bed now and figure it out because Miami's good and Buffalo's good.
Problem with LeBron is the sneakers. I have a big problem with the sneakers. So there's a new Dick's Warehouse in Crossgates Mall. So you have your like normal Dick's, and then they have like an outlet type in there. So the LeBron sneakers are all over that place. There's different sizes where their outlet price is like $160 for a pair of sneakers. And by the way, they're not even good looking sneakers. They're fugly, but they're 160. There's like 600 pairs of shoes I could buy together and have them. And then there's this for 160. You got a pair of LeBrons, right?
I got a pair of LeBrons like 5 years ago, and I probably never get them again.
How much are those new?
Over 120. And I said I bought it with a parlay, by the way.
That's right. Yeah, that's
parlay.
That's fine.
That's how you do it. That's
I'm like, are you there? This is the outlet price?
They're not going down anytime soon either.
What is the other price? Why are they? I was like, 11 and a half. Like I got Daniel feet for a big guy. I'm like excited. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll rock some. 160. I'm like, is this how much is it after the sale? Like 160. I'm like, no, you're not understanding what I'm saying. It's an outlet price. So what are they now? And I'm like, oh, they're not coming home with me.
I'm Air Maxes for the rest of my life. Shout out to Dion over at Restaurant 605 in the Tipsy Moose. She has a fresh pair of Air Maxes on.
I'm a big Under Armour guy. I'm on the Under Armour kick. I like Under Armour.
Very, very nice.
Yeah,
JJ Watt. 24-8 the final. Philly over Washington. The Commanders are an embarrassment of a franchise, as Gardner Royce put it. I'm not going to argue that. Carson Wentz stinks. Are you ready to start buying Super Bowl hype in Philly?
I don't see how you can at the moment. I mean, the way they're playing, like Jalen Hurts is what happens when your confidence and skill meet, because we knew that he was a hardworking dude. We knew he had all the confidence in the world. We knew all these things. I didn't think he had the ability to play the level of quarterback he's playing right now. And he's, I feel like he's willed himself to it. Because right now, if you were gonna do, I know the Pro Bowl's gone, thank God. If you're going to do a Pro Bowl game, like who are the two highlight guys you want to see face off?
Hurts and Jackson.
Yeah, so I love the way he's playing, and if he can keep that up with all the weapons they've got going on, and how can you not think they're going to be the NFC representative? I
feel good about that 11-1 ticket that I had for the Eagles to win the NFC this year. So if you want to buy it off me, my Venmo is at Tom Goz, TOM, or Godzilla Media, or DM me, and I will sell that ticket to you for the right price. 22-14 is the score for Carolina. This is one of these games where everybody deserved to lose. Baker Mayfield was terrible. They still aren't giving the ball enough to McCaffrey. Michael Thomas came back to earth a little bit. Jameis Winston was more Jameis Winston, not Buccaneer level, but still. You start questioning how much of an impact Sean Payton had on the Saint franchise forever. I think that sums it up. I'm ready to just pass on Panthers Saints if you want, because that was a nasty, bad game.
It was. It really was. Hold on a second.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So my nephew and his wife live in Tampa, so they got evacuated to Orlando, and now it looks like Hurricane Ian is good. Might hit there.
Oh,
so
man.
like.
Well, you do that, and I'm going to move on to the next game because there's not much from Panthers Saints. I do want to dive in a little bit of Jacksonville versus the Chargers, the LA Chargers. Our guy Jim is a Jacksonville fan. 38-10, the final. Jim, I'm going to let you lead off with this one as Levack hooks up his family. Trevor needed a coach. Talking about Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Now he got one. Look at Jags right now. It's early, but Jags look good. Strange feeling for us down here, but we love them. Levack, you've been saying this since August. You thought the Jags would win the AFC South, and just like the Eagles and Ravens are making me look smart, Doug Peterson and company is making you look smart after 3 weeks.
It is one of those things where you see the talent come in, right? So like, Valley Cats fans, you'll know what this is about. The Astros were terrible for so long. They were the Lastros. So they're getting all these high round draft picks. They're doing all these things, and you start to see it filter through the organization. Well, with the Jags, you could see like you've got some weapons, you made some moves, you've overpaid for some guys, but you got to pay the loser tax. That just happens. And then all of a sudden, the right guy takes over. Like almost overnight, you're going to see an improvement. I expected them to be better. Right now, they expect them to be better. They are believing in themselves. I don't want to get all Ted Lasso on you here, but like they believe. And now that they believe, look out. Look out.
They had everything in that game. Charger fan can go with the easy excuse. Well, Herbert was injured. Keenan Allen was injured. That had nothing to do with injuries. Like we talked about the Miami Buffalo thing, that if they had a few key players out there, that's a different game. That's not a different game. Because Trevor Lawrence looked like the prospect. He had some throws in the back of the end zone. Just like nothing the Chargers could do. Perfect throws in the back. Zay Jones got in the end zone. ETN is kind of finding his footing a little bit. James Robinson's been a beast. Jacksonville's good. And they are going to be a force in the AFC South with some inconsistency out of the other teams.
By the way, next week, Jacksonville versus Philadelphia, the Peterson Bowl. Like we talked about guys stepping up for their guy. It's like that's a guy who got flushed in Philadelphia and his team believes in him. Watch how hard the Jags play next week. Watch.
I want to hop on some fantasy stuff with. I think he's going to let Lawrence throw the ball 50 times. He's not even going to. He's going to want to run up the score on Philly.
You're going to find out who Doug Peterson's guys are real quick because they're going to go to war for him and he's going to let them.
Rams 20, Cardinals 12. I had the over in this game. I had the Cardinals as a lock, over 2. And Levack, you had the Rams as a lock. So that first lock off of the year in favor of you. Arizona could not run the football, and Los Angeles is hard to describe. I think is the best way I have to describe them. They're not last year.
That's fair. Well, I don't think Arizona is as good as they looked against the Raiders. I just don't think the Cardinals are a good team right now. The Rams are. They just, like you said, they're not the team from last year. So I think you're seeing a guy like McVay figure out what he has on the fly. And, it goes to that old Mike Tyson line. Everybody's got a plan to get punched in the face. Well, the Rams have been getting punched in the face and they're rolling with it. So I think you're going to see like the Bills punch them in the face hard. But like I think you'll see the Rams start to get better and better and better as the year goes on. And you'll see the Cardinals just dive bomb.
There are some plays like if you get Murray on 2nd and 15, 3rd and 15, they just don't have the DeAndre Hopkins suspended. AJ Green got hurt. They just don't have the people to make plays for Murray. I know Marquise Brown had a nice game. Hollywood Brown was really good. He had a $140 in that one. But yeah, those teams in the West, it's a weird division. Atlanta, Seattle, 27-23. By the way,
if you get a chance to just release a couple Call of Duty games during the season, watch his numbers go right down. It'll be great. Be phenomenal.
Cordero Patterson is revolutionizing football.
Love it.
141 yards on the ground. As a guy who was supposed to be a wide receiver star for the Vikings, a special teams specialist, revolutionizing football. He's the difference. He's the reason Atlanta won that game.
Well, and this is one of those things like I said it last year and I'll say it again this year. It's like one of those ones where you're in coach's meeting and you're going, all right, listen, we need to get the ball into Patterson's hands. I don't know, 10 times a game, maybe 12. And everybody's looking around. Well, how do we do it? Well, somebody goes, hand it to him. And they all, no. And it's worked 2 years straight now. Get the ball in your playmaker's hands and let him make plays.
But he's wearing 84. We can't. We can give an 84 the ball. Right. Whoa, this is so cool.
Well, he's still a wide receiver. He's a this, he's a that. He's what before Merrill Hodge got his bell rung too many times, a factor back.
Wait. I thought concussions don't exist according to Merrill Hodge.
That's how we knew that he got his bell rung too many times.
Also, Kyle Pitts, welcome. He still didn't get in the end zone, but they decided to throw the ball to you this week. 87 yards, the highest tight end ever drafted. The Atlanta thought maybe we should use him more. Okay. Good job, Arthur Smith. You did. In the last game here, Green Bay, Tampa, the battle of the old farts. Aaron Rodgers defeats Tom Brady in another lackluster game for both teams. Aaron Rodgers said in the post game that he helped out on the 2-point conversion because the Tampa home crowd showed him something. It also doesn't help that the delay of game might have been that clue that the snap, the clock, it doesn't matter. Tampa doesn't get it done. Right. Tampa didn't have Mike Evans, and both these teams who have always been in contention for the Super Bowl, old is what I'll keep saying about both teams. Old.
Well, the question becomes they both are historically famous for the I like to call it the Rocky montage moment, where it's like, oh, he's done, and then like a week later they're back and they're better than ever. And like you can almost visualize them working out in a barn, to like some crappy 80s music that no one should ever listen to again, and then put it together. I can't believe they're both going to fall off the cliff this year, but their toes are on that cliff, on the edge right now. I feel like the Buccaneers will get it together, but right now the way the Green Bay defense is playing is pretty stellar, and the fact that they can run the ball as effectively as they can, I thought the Buccaneers would handle business in this game, even without Mike Evans. They did not. Back to the drawing board on both of them, I guess. I don't know.
I kept thinking about this stat driving over. I'm like, I wonder what contract's worse. 3 years, $150 million for Rodgers, or Russell Wilson's in Denver. The answer is Russell Wilson because it's $200 million guaranteed plus. They're both bad contracts. Like maybe this is where quarterbacks stop making so much money with these older guys going baseball style and cashing in. That's the not so rapid recap. Before we get to, I cannot believe I'm going to say power rankings.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our friends over at Lily and David Fine Jewelers, Route 50, the shops of Wilton. Shout out to Alyssa, David, everybody over there. Family owned and operated business. is celebrating their 10th anniversary this October. Shout out to everybody, 10 years in the industry, doing great things, helping to make those great moments and stories like mine. There it is. You guys are number one. That is the wedding band. I promise you on the audio side, that is my ring finger I'm putting up to the camera. You can stop over there now. Get an engagement ring, a wedding band, maybe that gift for the holiday season. Great deals coming up this October to celebrate the 10th anniversary. Looking forward to sharing with those dates and more coming up as the weeks come this fall. Lily and David Fine Jewelers stopped in there this past Friday. The selection is fantastic for the fall, and the holidays on the way. Baby Rex was sleeping on me. Oh, it was very nice. It was a nice scene. Stop in there. Say you heard it right here from Levack and Goz, family-owned and operated business. Get what she's looking for, guys. And if you want to watch 7 hours of football, if you want to talk about the football games and everything else, September, October, take care of her. Lily and David Fine Jewelers, family-owned, operated business. Levack and Goz is where you heard that story from.
Do we have a name for the other child?
Yes, we do.
The pending arrival?
Yes.
What's the name?
I have it. My wife does as well.
Wait.
And her sisters know it.
Her sisters know, but I don't know.
But it will not be shared. I am not allowed to share the name of baby number 2.
Why not?
Some people aren't mature enough to handle it. Not you, Levack. You can handle it. People in my family are not mature enough to handle it. Along with some friends.
Is it a silly name, or
no?
Do you think they'll tell people?
See, that's the thing. Like, what I learned was, like, when people would say, like, they wouldn't say the name, I'm like, why don't you just say the name? But what I learned is that when you share the name with people, they assume you want, like, their input on it.
Oh,
like,
I get
that's
you.
what I learned.
I'm
like, I don't know if we didn't ask you what you thought of it. We're just telling you what the name is. Have you thought about this name? No.
Oh, right.
Like, so, I honestly don't think people are trying to be rude about it when they say that.
They don't realize that it's
right.
Yeah.
Like, I had a conversation with this girl at a wedding 2 weeks ago, and she doesn't know what she should name her kid. So, like, I got an idea. Like, what do you think about this name? And she's like, and I could tell she was, like, not offended, but, like, why are you giving me a name? I'm like, right. Oh, right. Like, you don't give a shit what I have to say.
Right.
Care. So that's why we're keeping it. Yeah.
If they don't have a name, I feel like it's okay to, like, go, hey, have you ever thought of this? Like, I always just suggest Jeff. Like, like, you should just name every child after me. You know, I think is a good, solid plan.
I will give a big clue if you're watching in Salve. Somebody had a kid today that has the same name of what our kid will be.
A lot of people had kids today.
And I'll give you another clue in Albany or Saratoga. If you go to Saving Face Barbershop in Saratoga, Jeremiah has the name.
Is it Jeremiah?
It is not Jeremiah. We let it slip when
do you have, like, is it a theme though? Like, is it
a theme?
Like
no,
Rex?
It's
like,
not a theme.
Like, Rex is king, right?
Yes.
So, like, is it on that level
of king? No.
Is it Mufasa?
No, it is not Mufasa.
Oh, all right.
Lily and David Fine Jewelers. Ask Alyssa if she knows the name.
I'm curious now. I do think about that. Like, I have definitely done that. Like, where it's like, oh, this is what the kid's name is going to be, and I'm like, that's a poor idea. That's it. Like, because I'll tell you how I would pick on that kid right now. Like, I would tell you, my one friend, and I don't think she'd mind if I tell. I'm not gonna say her name, but this is years and years ago. She was gonna name. She named her daughter Emerson, and the only Emerson I had heard of was the electronics company. So I was like, Googled Emerson as a name, and the first thing that came up was Urban Dictionary.
Oh no!
And the it came up with a way to, like, insult the name, like Emerson Nash titties over there, and I'm like, oh my god, you can't do this! You can't do this to a child! And, like, no one's ever said it, thank God. But yeah, it rained like a mother, and now the sun's out again. This is ridiculous.
Those are your clues you get. Jeremiah knows it. Saving Face Barbershop.
How is that like a clue? Like, I'm not.
It's more common than Rex.
It's not like I share a name with Jeremiah, like a brain. I can go, hey,
get your haircut over there. And be like, Gosh is talking about his kid. What's his name again?
I don't know, man. I feel like I should have some input in the name. I feel like I should have been part of it.
Why did we all talk about this together?
Yeah, I feel like I should have been.
Stu Gotts Harambe.
I just can't.
Came
believe
to his first tailgate. Someone actually called him Stu Gotts, by the way.
Rex,
hey, is that baby Stu Gotts? Yeah. You want to do these power rankings? I stalled long enough.
All right, here we
go.
Do
you have them?
I have them. Of course, I have them. Don't look, because this is the funnest for you to guess the NFL power rankings as discerned by our farmer employer, I guess, the ESPN national site. So who is number one now after the amazing action that has taken place in the NFL last week?
You know what? This is actually why I can't believe this. I wanted to do it because I'm fascinated by their answer here. So, okay. So the Eagles and the Dolphins are the only 3-0 teams left. We've made excuses for Buffalo today. I would say that the number one team in the NFL, for the way they played this season and because of their record, Bills fans, it's at Tom Goz, TOMG, it was easy on Twitter, and you're watching the show. I would put the Philadelphia Eagles as the best team in the NFL right now.
Do I have the? What do I? No, that's scary. There we go. No, I don't know if we have it. Do we have?
Is it gone? It could be gone.
That old one right there. That used to mean something to me. Nope. There it is. We'll use that. Okay. All right. So that's a no. You did not get it.
So I would say the Eagles. So I'll do one more guess.
All right. Let me turn this. You can't see.
I wouldn't guess it's the Rams because they've lost. Is it the Bills still?
The number one team, according to the power rankings at ESPN.com, is the Miami Dolphins.
Whoa.
Miami Dolphins go from 5 last week to 1 this week. They jump 5 spots after beating the Bills.
So I would have put Miami, I guess, at 2 with my thinking, but I did not think that much credit would go to the Dolphins after beating the Bills, even banged up. If Miami played Philly, who would you take?
I would take Philly.
I would too. All right,
Yeah.
So you're already wrong, power rankings. So I hate you.
Yeah.
The second best team, though, would be Philly. What? What do you mean they're not 2? This is what I'm talking about. This is why I hate this stupid power rank. They're 3-0. Who is Tell me Buffalo's 2.
Buffalo is 2.
Unbelievable.
Buffalo is 2. So Dolphins 1, Buffalo Bills number 2.
Just put Buffalo 1 then if you're going to do it like Philly better be at 3.
Philly is at 3.
Okay,
there you go. Look at that. Yeah, we're back on it.
All right.
How about number 4?
Oh, man. That got harder. Okay. Number 4. Baltimore.
No.
It's
Somebody you said earlier. They were formerly number 2. The Kansas City Chiefs are number 4, my friend. Do you want to guess anymore, or you want me to run through the top 10?
I just want to sit on the Kansas City thing. They just lost to the Colts, right? Isn't the Colts loss? Oh, I guess they're saying
the Colts loss took you from 2 to 4. Colts are a well-coached team. You know, they got one of the best running backs in the game. Defense plays well. You know.
The Ravens lost to somebody. Okay, hang on a second.
Okay.
The Ravens lost to Miami. Miami is number 1.
Correct.
The Chiefs lost to the Colts, and they're way down there. So why is Baltimore not ahead of them? Okay,
hold on. I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you where the Colts are, just so you. Wow, I'm still scrolling.
I would say the Colts are like 30th, 29th,
20th. Colts are
20. My God,
1, 1, and 1. 20th up from 25.
I hate them.
And then, all right. So here we go. Here we go. You ready?
All right, so we're on 5 now.
5.
So this should be Baltimore. Unbelievable. They're 2-1. Who's 5?
Also 2-1. The Los Angeles Rams.
Oh my God. I've already got worked up over a few on these power rankings. That one actually bothers me more than any of them so far. You're telling me after watching 3 weeks of the NFL that the Los Angeles Rams can beat the Baltimore Ravens? Hell no. Stafford looks old. Aaron Donald's playing fine. Cooper Kupp's there's no way I can buy the Rams are beating the Ravens. I don't know how they do it. I honestly don't. I think the Ravens would be a 7-point favorite over the Rams. Or Ravens would be 7-point over the Rams. Yeah.
The Ravens are number 6, right behind them.
Okay. All right. So maybe all right. Saved yourself their power rankings. So 7th. Boy, these are getting a little bit. That's too high for Jacksonville still, so I don't think it's them. The Packers did win. Their Packers are 2-1. I would go with Green Bay probably.
Look at you. There it is.
All right,
the
one
Green
on the
Bay Packers. Look at it. There are a lot of 2-1 teams starting to rear their ugly heads here. Then do you want to just run through them?
I'm going to go 8th and 9th and 10th here quick.
Okay. All right.
My last 3 guesses, because they're 2-1, I would guess Tampa at 8. I would guess Jacks. I guess I would say Tampa at 8, Jacksonville at 10, and I would put so Tampa, Minnesota, Jacksonville would be my final 10. 8, 9, 10, Tampa, Minnesota, Jacksonville.
8, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 9, the Minnesota Vikings. 10, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Ooh. How far is Jacksonville? That was a pretty good run while you're right there. How far is Jacksonville down there?
Really, Cincinnati? Come on. What is that? Jacksonville is 13th, up from 24. Jumping big time.
And where are the 2 New York teams? The Giants and the Jets on this. I would guess the Giants would maybe be 12, after 2-1 start.
No, they did move up after losing from all the way from 19 to 17 at 2-1.
Okay,
putting them behind teams like the Dallas Cowboys, the Chargers, the Niners, and of course the Jags. The
you know what?
Jets.
I actually believe they'd lose to all those teams, so that's fair.
Where do you have the New York Football Jets?
27?
Down from 29, they are 31.
31.
The Jets, putting them. Who's the only team they're better than?
The Raiders?
No, the Raiders are only one ahead of them. The only team they're better than
Texans.
The Houston Texans. Yep. The Raiders fell from 23 to 30.
Yeah, I get going back to that theory too. Do I think the Raiders could beat the Jets? Yes. Do I think the Texans could beat the okay? Oh boy, man. Not thinking about that Jet answer is starting to worry me. Chicago won this past weekend. Tennessee's not that bad yet. Oh man, Jet fan, man. Yeah, I guess Cam, you might be right, man. The Jets are garbage. Chad, Nick in Syracuse, Jimmy and Kasaki, whoever else is out there, Jet fan. Maybe they are worse than I thought.
Then you got Benny Wednesday. Buff is number one by far. They did lose. They lost. They lost to the Dolphins,
who are number one.
Who are number one at this point? Yeah. And then of course Corey has to show up. Hi guys.
You know who else is number one? Johnstone Supply in Troy. Fall is here. Football is here. We're going to talk some Aaron Judge. We're going to do Q&A at the end of the day. I ran about college game day. We're going maybe long today. Who knows? But Johnstone Supply in Troy is your spot. 518-272-5922. Give them a call. Save that number in your phone, whether it's for you, a family friend, a cousin, whoever it might be, who needs help with their house needing to get a little bit warmer upcoming with this colder weather on the way. You want to go over to Johnstone Supply in Troy, 6th Avenue in Troy. George and his crew will help you. I'm telling you, you have guys on this side making sure that when you're home, might have an issue you didn't even have thinking about. Johnstone Supply in Troy can help you. 518-272-5922. 518-272-5922. It is Johnstone Supply in Troy. Furnaces, boilers, heater, AC, maybe for next year coming up, they will take care of you. Check them out on Facebook. Leave them a nice comment. Johnstone Supply Troy NY. Johnstone Supply Troy NY. With us in day one here on Godzilla Media. We hope that if you enjoy this show and the Godzilla Media content, Levack and Goz, you go out and support these great people. Johnstone Supply in Troy. Make sure you say, Levack and Goz, we love what you do on Godzilla Media. See if you see George, maybe jump into a karate stance. Maybe jump into UFC.
I don't know if he'll do that. He might punch you right in the face. That could be a thing.
George calls me. Yeah, guys, somebody showed up in a karate stance. I knocked him out. But
yeah, now you're paying their dental bill. Let's see what you think.
Send it over.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that personally because he can throw hands.
He can.
Yeah, so don't challenge somebody to throw hands. That's like survival 101. You know, just don't start none, won't be none. Levack Goz, it is the Techies Tuesday live for Techies Fire and Water Restoration. The way the weather's going today, make sure that you're ready to look us up because it's crazy. Judge sitting on 60. This has been like the most annoying and yet wildly entertaining thing for me the last like couple games. One, it's annoying because Judge is just cranking doubles and he's hitting the ball to the warning track. Like he's being extremely productive, and people are acting like he's a failure because he hasn't hit his 61st and 62nd home run. Like I get it, that's what everybody wants to see, but it's like dude's got multiple doubles and multiple extra base hits and stuff, and you're like, oh, God, I can't believe what a loser. Like it's calm the F down, calm down.
He's had some warning track power in some.
Yes.
Some at bats are giving him absolutely nothing hit. Some at bats are throwing him fastballs, so it's like throwing him off. It's like, wait a sec, I thought you were just
right. I thought we were going to do this.
Now I'm all over the place. I am laughing at the college and pro football fans who have gone full anti-Judge because ESPN had a great idea, just like they did in the late 90s. Like, hey, let's cut in during these games, and oh my, like everybody losing their minds. Okay, maybe Wake Forest and Clemson wasn't the best game to cut into. I'm not sure how many fans in that area are Yankee fans. If you wanted to cut into Giants and Cowboys last night, you could have. There's more of a New York audience.
Right.
Yeah. You could have. I hope he hits it. I'm rooting for him. All that good stuff.
Do you want him to hit it in Toronto, though?
No.
Do you know? So if he doesn't hit it in Toronto, you know who he's going to hit it off of, right?
Baltimore?
Yeah. Baltimore's coming to town next. So, yeah. So he's got tonight, tomorrow in Toronto. They're off Thursday, and then they're home for the Orioles.
I have to admit my age here is going to hurt me with my perspective on this. I'm trying to think back to the Maris family when McGuire in 98 was chasing after it. It felt like he hit 62 quick. Like, I know the Maris family's basically following him around, right? Like, we want to have the moment again like they had in 98 with McGuire.
Right.
I wonder
but
if
better this time because he's not cheating.
Right. I wonder if they're annoyed now. Like, I got stuff to do.
Right. You know how hard it? Like, I get it that Canada has finally loosened up on letting people through. But it still wasn't easy. Okay. But also you're relevant. Probably nice to be relevant for a little while, right?
Yeah.
Did you realize that how many career home runs did Roger Maris hit?
Not a lot. I guess not a lot, relatively speaking.
Thank you.
Less than 300?
Yes. 275?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the part that's been extremely entertaining. You mentioned the warning track power. Oh my God! Every time he just pops one off the bat, it was just people getting whiplash, going crazy.
It is high.
That has been like worth every minute of not having him hit 61 or 62 yet. Because I'm watching, I fall for it too. I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, oh my God, it's been last night. I'm watching on one of my internet TVs, so it doesn't have like the cable hookup to it. And he gets a low and outside pitch that he cuts on, and I'm like, and screen freezes. My Wi-Fi. I found out that the new cat Drogon likes to climb on the Wi-Fi and look out the window, which is really nice of him. Freezes, Dad. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's the one he hit. He hit it because I'm not going to get to see it. And then sure enough, it comes back and he was out. I was like, okay. But still, I was like, this is some karmic just abuse because I have been the one laughing at everyone, thinking everything he hits is a home run.
If it makes you feel better, I believe that might have been a national feed cut. At
least was it?
I think because I was at Restaurant 605 when he was up last night. And I had my head down. I was doing something, and I heard, like the place erupted. So I'm like, oh, he hit it. And it was like, it's just kind of, he was still at the plate, though. And it's like, something must have happened with the feed because no warning track, no foul ball. So, yeah.
He'll hit 61 tonight. He'll hit 62 against your Orioles.
I want to say that hurts, but, I mean, Baltimore had as good as a season as it can. If you want to add more to the highlights for Baltimore, they're not playing for much. They had a great year.
I can't remember the guy who Bonds hit the record off of.
Oh, you've interviewed him a bunch.
Yeah, he's a super nice
Texas guy, right?
Yeah, I think that's why I try to forget the name because he is such a nice guy. But like he's made like kind of a career out of it. Like he's become a radio guy and everything.
Ooh, I just got a nice text from my buddy Bert who said Aaron Judge is plus 100 tonight at the home run.
I think that's a promo on DraftKings.
Plus 100 is nice. Shout out to DraftKings. Promo code 518. Plus 100 is, you wonder if they want people to, that's a juicy number.
Let's put juicy to the list of words you're not allowed to say anymore.
It's still banned.
Lather and juicy are not welcome here.
I want to title this podcast Lathered and Juicy, but I'd like people to listen, so I won't do that.
We might find a whole new audience. like a whole new audience of people who are just disappointed when it's just it's really hoping two fat guys are getting lathered up in a juicy situation, but all right, whatever.
I haven't had this conversation with you yet. I know I had it with Boston Dan and Barry, the host of Bros and Bourbon podcast. I am getting emails from adult websites constantly about us pitching their products.
I've got about what ones?
Let's say enhancement drugs, webcams, nude material. I've got a bunch of them.
I mean, if it's any of the ones I actually use, I'll do it.
I'm very nervous to click the website to give them any of my information. But they're all in my spam folder now.
I don't need the enhancement drug, but I'm not saying I wouldn't experiment a little with it. And then as far as like the nakedness, listen, it's art. I'm down to look at a little nakedness.
I'm going to send this over to you and Boston Dan Barry later to see if you guys want to even dive into this.
Yeah. I'm not opposed.
I don't think College Game Day is coming to Syracuse anymore.
I don't either.
What the hell happened? NC State and Clemson get the game. Look, they're both in the top 10. It's going to be the best game of the weekend, so I can't even argue that.
Clemson's going to win, though, and that's going to screw the whole thing up anyway.
Yeah, because NC State needed to be undefeated. And that weekend where Syracuse is eyeing the NC State game also has an potentially undefeated Michigan versus Penn State, Utah versus USC, and USC won late against Oregon State. Kansas is undefeated, should be in the top 25. They got Oklahoma that week. It hurts. Unless I think Syracuse is going to stay undefeated till Florida State in November, which is they got Notre Dame, NC State, Clemson, and Pitt all before that. It seems unlikely. I'm bummed because I don't think it's going to happen now for that Clemson NC State pick. I would be shocked if they had NC State twice in a month as the opposing team at game day.
Yeah, I wouldn't like your chances very much, but they have never been there. So if NC State were to win, who knows, possibly. But no, yeah, I don't think it's happening for you, brother. I think I'm sorry. I don't think you get to do it. And I know it's going to hurt a lot of people because they wanted to see me in the 44 jersey. I know a lot of people reached out online asking to see me in the 44 because they know that I deserve it. I'm worthy. But it's, listen, other dreams can come true. Other ones.
And other quick one, no Pro Bowl. You are clapping. You've been saying this for, God, I can't even, a long time. The skills comp should have been the focus, and
it is
another cash-in ticket for you here today.
I can't wait. So it's going to focus on skills competition, and there's going to be a flag football game. I love that they think the flag football game isn't going to be more dangerous than the actual game. Like these are guys who legitimately compete for a living and live to compete. I think the flag football game is going to be more dangerous. You're going to have to make it like a rock jock, like the old MTV ones, because there's a chance that if like Taylor Swift is running down the sideline, they won't kill her, and they'll realize that they shouldn't kill each other in that game either. They'll kill each other in a flag football game. Look at what you did to a poor freaking campus state trooper.
He wasn't
in a flag
down.
Football game.
He wasn't down. I believe the name is Garrison Hurst, if people remember that name. Wasn't he the running back for the Niners who blew out his knee in the sand football game? He was one,
and then there was, I want to see Joey Galloway got hurt in a sand football game too. Like, there's a lot of guys who have been hurt playing flag football, but like it's only a matter. They're gonna kill each other.
It's weird. My mind jumped to this before anything of the actual skills comp and what happened. Goodell and Manfred take a lot of heat. A lot of heat for stuff. Manfred's, a lot of it goes back to the Ray Rice, but some people just don't like Roger Goodell. Manfred is getting innovative with baseball 2023. Although some of the rules might be terrible, he's trying. They're putting stuff in.
It's also every time Manfred walks into a room, plays. Like that happens every time he walks into a room.
Yeah, and Adam Silver gives Sarver, the guy from the Suns, a 1-year suspension. Now he's going to sell his team. The Ime Udoka stuff is hidden. So as much as people want to trash Manfred and Goodell, they're putting stuff in play. Silver's the greatest. Like, what do you think about this? Well, I might do it. Like, oh, wow, he's so smart. He's brilliant. Wow, he's thinking about this new. He never does it. So I want to get credit to Goodell for trying something new and actually putting it in place and taking the criticism. Unlike Silver, who just is a big talker.
Well, Silver is also an alien. So that's part of it. He's featured heavily in Jordan Peele's new movie Nope. So in my humble opinion. All right,
Q&A to end the day. Twitter, Facebook, wherever you come from. There is one way up here. Oh, Tommy Grass, of course. We got to lead off with our guy, Tommy Grass. I'm gonna hit the banners here for you, Levack.
Okay, because I can't
sun
see.
Gets you. Yeah. If an NFL coach gets fired during the season, what team do you think will do it?
Whew.
That's a great one, Tommy.
That is a great one. Wow, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
Because it's not going to be a rookie one. It's not going to like I know what people are joking about McDaniels. It's not going to be Josh McDaniels. It's not going to be. I
don't think it's Frank Wright. I know he seems like facing the most criticism from the Colts.
Listen,
fans.
If they fire him, then I want the Raiders to fire McDaniels and pick him up instantly. That guy's a good coach. He's been through some stuff, but he's a good coach.
Mike McCarthy, but Dak's injured.
I like Mike McCarthy. That's probably that's got to be the odds-on favorite, right? Because he is terrible. He is just terrible.
I think McCarthy would go with 2. I think another one that's surprising, maybe because Pete Carroll's still coaching. This would have been a perfect time for Pete Carroll to retire. He's got nothing else to prove.
But Pete Carroll, I think, would be more of a, hey, I'm hanging it up after the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think you mutually agree at that point. McCarthy's got to be the favorite. I guess Ron Rivera possibly, just because of the fact that
it's Washington and they don't know what the coach is.
And he's been sick and he's a little cranky and he could say something. Cliff Kingsbury? What about a little Cliff Kingsbury in your life?
It feels like there's so much money invested in him and Murray. They probably should have, but
I think McCarthy, Kingsbury. I think those are the two that I could actually see it happen to. I don't know if anybody else is that close.
That's a good one, Tommy.
Barring doing something super stupid. Like if somebody ends up with video of them knuckle deep in a co-ed inside a bar, like that could be bad for them.
I agree.
That changes everything.
Brian Katie wrote this one, and guys, I got a question I would like to get a serious thought on. I'm sure I will. The Cowboys have a quarterback problem ? This team seems to play the game more efficiently under Cooper Rush than it has with Dak the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think you have a head coach problem. I think it goes back to head coach because I don't think anybody can dispute the fact that Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than old Coop over there. But at the same time, you're not game planning appropriately for him. So, like, I think it's a head coach problem. I think when you have a quarterback as skilled as Dak Prescott and you still can't, and your offense runs better under Cooper Rush, that's a head coach problem.
I don't know if I buy that. I don't know if I actually believe that after 2 weeks that the offense is better efficiently, effectively, whatever word you want to use there with Rush. Why? Because it's more standard, traditional.
Well, they play within themselves.
Less
mistakes.
I guess Prescott, but like he's put up great numbers. They had Jason Garrett for a little bit that in the postseason they weren't able to get over the top. I'm a big Dak Prescott fan. He's done everything he's been asked of the Cowboys. Thank God that storyline of his contract has been put to bed. Mm-hmm. Oh my. I think it's hard for us as football fans to remember how nauseating the Dak Prescott contract stuff was for years. Guy snapped his leg on the field and didn't lose any money. Like that should be a compliment enough of the dude thought he might never walk again. Not as bad as Alex Smith, but bad. Right. And he's still out there. It got hurt again, but I'm not even buying that that's a true statement. The Cowboys are a better offense with him not out there.
No, but I think they're a better offense if they have a real coaching staff.
Yes.
Like that's
I believe that too.
That's because that's the thing. You almost everybody on that roster gets a pass from me right now because of the coaching staff. Because McCarthy is the worst coach in the NFL.
I don't know if
it's not close.
I think he's gone too. Back to our thing with Tom. Cam, the Bills-Dolphins game pissed me off.
Hey, potty mouth, buddy. Potty mouth. Of course it did. Your team lost. Every Raiders game this year has pissed me off. It is what it is. The game didn't piss you off. The Bills got beat.
I just thought of Cam as Ken Dorsey, though. That's why I wanted to do that. Ken Dorsey just slamming everything. I can imagine Cam slamming a few things, man. He's a passionate fan. I could see it. Like Bills fans is still the craziest on social media. Raider fans in the mix for sure.
Raiders fans are more crazy in person.
Buccaneer fan. Oh my God. And people I like. The guys inside the huddle, James, one of our guys from Tampa, Whitney, who used to coordinate a lot of our guests down in Tampa and during some of our Florida shows at Radio Row. They're like, you got to fire Byron Leftwich. He's done it. What the hell is happening? That you guys are calling for Byron Leftwich to get fired. Some of you guys need to just think before you tweet. Like Herm Edwards used to say.
There are some issues in Tampa, though. When obviously, like Bruce Arians is not your head coach anymore. Team does look a little different. It is a different roster. I get that. But Bruce Arians still finds his way to the sideline and gets in trouble.
Yeah. You know what? Let's sit on that for a second because I like Bruce Arians. Awesome coach. Really good. Let him do a Super Bowl.
Love to hang out with him sometimes.
Yes. Nothing but positive things to say about Bruce Arians. I don't care what you do for a living. Coaching, sales, radio, teaching, whatever it is. Like there are certain people that when it's time to go, it's time to go. Like you aren't doing anybody any favors by like hanging out a little bit and like being there. Like even some of the coaches like Mike Krzyzewski, right? Like at Duke, like we're still going to help John Singler, right? John Shire, help with the coaching. Go away.
Right.
Like, Bobby Bowden was done. The late Bobby Bowden, who we loved, said the great thing. When I'm done, I'm done. Yep. Like it's not fair to anybody to be there. Bruce Arians could be the most supportive dude ever, but it's not fair that he's there.
He's just getting involved.
Yeah,
don't get involved.
It, man.
I guess there was no place that he wanted. They wanted him to sit in the media booth because there wasn't a place like for him to hang out. And he's like, I'm not sitting in the media booth. So they put him on the sideline, and he got involved. Like it's just you can't get involved.
Mike Francesa, just go away. Just be done with it, man.
Don't tell me what to do. What I want. And then I'll take a little.
Kind of want to end on this one. Jay wrote, guys, is it getting harder and harder to say no to adult reads?
Is it, guys? Yes.
Damn it. Come on. Shit. No.
You got to turn them
Where's
off.
the clap one? There you go. Damn it. I went no for an eye on that. Very good joke, Jay, that I just butchered trying to.
Here we go. Tom, I'm shocked it took so long. I just want Levack to know that Sunday's victory was almost as sweet as the birth of my children.
Oh my God, Tom, no.
Tom, the Titans fan. That's because you know you shouldn't have won, and you're not going to get many victories this year. How many kids does he have?
He has 2 wonderful kids.
He might have as many kids as the Titans have victories this year.
I wanted you and him to come to Restaurant 605 yesterday. You two to just talk about Titan football.
How was Restaurant 605?
Very, very good. A great show. Shout out to Football in the Know. But I thought I was going to have you two together talking Titan football and having some Miller Lite drafts with me. You're both busy. That's okay.
Was that a Deion Lewis jersey hung on the wall?
Yeah, I think I botched that. Deion Lewis is on the wall. Saquon Barkley, they were giving away. But is Deion Lewis like a part owner of that place? Allegedly, he was there. I think I saw him. I might have missed him, but there was somebody there with a Deion Lewis jersey on who looked like Deion Lewis. But I thought in my head, like, Deion Lewis wouldn't come to a place with a Deion Lewis jersey on. Some older football players would. Like, we saw guys used to walk around with their Hall of Fame jackets on.
There's a lot of people who look like Deion Lewis?
That's not what I said.
Like, there's a group of people that might all look similar? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's not what I said.
I'm just curious. I'm just trying to help. Well, I'm just saying, like, also, like, the Deion Lewis jersey on the wall? Really? That's what you're going with?
You don't like it? It's an Albany connection.
No, it's fine. It's okay. But it's like, it was a Deion Lewis Giants jersey, right?
It was.
Like, it's a pretty forgettable Giants career. Like, wouldn't you put the Patriots one up there? If you were really going to put a Deion Lewis jersey up there, wouldn't you put where he was good?
I feel like there's like a Mount Rushmore of Deion Lewis jerseys, and the Giant wouldn't make the cut. Is what you're saying? Pitt would. Albany Academy would.
Yep.
Patriots.
Yep.
Maybe the Eagles. His first team, right?
So he is a 3-head Mount Rushmore. I was saying, like, the Giants one up there.
It's not how the Mount Rushmore works.
The Mount Rushmore doesn't work, period. It's a stupid conversation to have. But I'm just saying, if we're going to have one with him, like, I'm just saying, the Giants jersey is not what I would go with. If I was going to immortalize Deion Lewis on the wall of my establishment and I didn't own it as Deion Lewis, I wouldn't put the Giants jersey up. I would put, like, the Pats jersey.
You take that up with Deion over at Restaurant 605.
Does he own it? Is he like an owner of the place?
It's a she.
Oh, she? Oh, okay. I thought Deion.
She helps there. She also
confused.
does Tipsy Moose.
I'm so confused.
She's very attractive. I'll send you her stuff later.
Okay.
I love Deion.
Well, listen, I got no problem with that, Deion. I'm just saying, if I'm Deion Lewis and I walk in there and I go, so you went with the Giants one, huh? Like, you know, that'd be like,
there's a lot of Deions I just mentioned there. That might be a record.
That'd be like me, like if I walked in somewhere and they were trying to like honor me as like my radio, like the Breeze, huh? I did a weekend on the Breeze. Huh? Even picks. Like, I mean, I got picks, really? I think I was like in the you couldn't have put you couldn't put the team or GNA or the Edge. You went with the beat. Okay, cool. I was on there for a couple times.
Derek Brown could offer perspective on this, right? Did you have this convo with DB when you first met him? For those who've never heard that story.
Yeah, DB had like basically 2 teams. Well, 3 total if you really got into it. He was the Giants because they drafted him. He was very successful with the Jags, but he always said the Raiders were his AFC team. You didn't see him like, you're not going to hang the Cardinals DB jersey up on the wall. You're not going to break that one out. Usually, probably not
ever,
right? Because it's also there's a chance it's going to bring back some bad memories to my man. So no, you don't do that. It didn't make sense.
His would be Jags, Merritt Island High School, Notre Dame.
I know he was very fond of his time with the Giants. Even though he was my favorite person because I met him. I was doing a GNA remote at a Verizon over in Latham. It's not even open anymore. And I see him get out of he was driving like a nice little BMW, nothing too flashy, but a very nice car. And I just saw the guy keep standing up. Like he got out of the car and he just kept getting taller. And I like recognized him instantly. I was like, oh man, you were on my Raiders. And he's like, and literally he goes, that's the one. You remember, he goes, that's my AFC team. Don't get me wrong, but that's what you know. Like, not the Giants, not the Jags, the playoff team. No, the Raiders. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm Deion, I walk in there and I go, the Giants, huh? All right, okay, all right.
Shout out to his son, by the way. Reese is at Howard now. UNLV had about the entire team transfer. He tried to stick it out as long as he could. He's at Howard this upcoming season.
His kids are kicking ass, and it couldn't happen to a nicer family. Is that it? Can I go home?
That is it. You and I are back live Sunday, the week of returns. We are back in Mohawk Honda, back at Tech East here on Central Ave. We are back at the Hideaway this Sunday, 11:30 to 1.
Bloody
3
Marys
New
and
York
garbage
teams,
plates.
1 o'clock action. Cannot wait.
I may not eat Saturday.
No garbage plate.
No, Saturday I won't
No.
eat, so I can just shovel food in my face at the Hideaway food. Like, I love giving Tim at the Hideaway a hard time, but the food at the Hideaway is like, you want to talk about, like, you know how you're always like, when you're out with the like your wife or whoever or a friend, you're always like, where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? Like, the Hideaway is always the place where when I finally go, you want to cruise up to the Hideaway? Everybody's like, yeah. So like, I'm gonna shovel food into my face at the Hideaway.
Can't wait. Come join us Sunday. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be
I may
awesome.
wear sweatpants. Like, I might treat it like Thanksgiving. Just keep feeding me. That's all I ask. Time for some advice. Don't say you're going to do a bigger and better show if the previous show included me.